Hi, I'm Noah, 31, and last summer I made a mistake that cost me more than money. It cost me trust, peace, and for a minute, my damn sanity. I gifted my parents a $300,000 luxury RV so they could finally live their dream of traveling the country together. A month later, they sold it behind my back, and used the money to take my sister on a cruise around the Mediterranean. Just her. Not a single word to me. Let me start from the beginning. They used to talk about it all the time. When we retire, we'll hit the open road. They'd point at campers on the highway like kids at a candy store. My dad would whisper things like, "That's a diesel pusher. Look at that slide out. She's a beauty." Mom collected brochures like they were travel postcards from a life that never quite arrived. So when Dad turned 65 and Mom finally wrapped up 30 years as a school nurse, I cashed out some company stock, found the best Class A RV I could get my hands on, and wrapped the keys in a box shaped like a photo frame. Inside, a printout of the GPS route I preloaded, Yellowstone to Key West, with 14 national parks along the way. They cried. Actual tears. Mom put both hands on her cheeks like she'd seen a ghost. Dad ran his hand along the leather captain's chair like it was sacred. I told them, "It's all paid for. Insurance, gas, everything. I booked the first 3 campgrounds. You just have to drive and enjoy it." My sister Clara, of course, made it a point to be late. When she arrived, she gave one of those theatrical gasps like she had bought it. "Oh my God, this is insane. Noah, how can you even afford something like this? That's crazy." Then she laughed, added, "Not that they don't deserve it. You guys totally do." I should have known something was off when she climbed inside and said, "This bathroom is bigger than my apartment." She took selfies with the fireplace. The fireplace. In a vehicle. But I didn't see the future yet. Not until a month later, when my phone rang and everything changed. The call came from my Uncle Steve. He's the one who knows everything before anyone else. Family gossip hits his inbox like breaking news. He said, "Hey bud, heard your folks are in Santorini? Thought they were RVing? I thought he was messing with me." Santorini? My dad still couldn't pronounce Euro correctly. I laughed. "Nah, they're probably somewhere near the Rockies by now." He said, skeptical. "That's weird. Your mom just posted an Instagram story from a catamaran. Unless the RV floats now." I hung up and checked. My heart did that weird slow beat, the kind that only shows up when you know you're about to see something that'll make your stomach drop. Sure enough, there they were. My mom in a wide-brimmed hat, holding a mimosa. Dad in a linen shirt like he was auditioning for a resort ad. And right between them, like a damn cruise princess, was Clara. Laughing. Posing. Toasting. The caption? Family adventure of a lifetime. My phone slipped from my hand. I sat there staring at the floor, trying to do the math. Maybe they rented it? Maybe it was a quick getaway. Nope. Next story. After selling the RV, we decided to really treat ourselves. I blinked. Sold. The RV. No call. No text. No conversation. They just sold it. My parents, who once made me sign a contract before I could touch their TV remote as a kid, sold a $300,000 gift like it was an old lawn chair. I called Dad. Straight to voicemail. I called Mom. Voicemail. Clara? Oh, Clara answered. She was tipsy. Noah. Hey. Oh my God, the boat here is ridiculous. Like the food? It's next level. I skipped the small talk. Did you guys seriously sell the RV? She paused. Ugh. You're mad. Answer the question. Look, don't be dramatic. They weren't using it. Dad's back hurt after the first week, and Mom kept saying she felt claustrophobic. So I suggested something different. Something luxury. I mean, you wanted them to travel, right? I said nothing. She laughed then. Noah, come on. It's just a vehicle. The memories are what matter. I hung up. That night, I sat in my one-bedroom apartment staring at the purchase receipt, still in my inbox. $307,245. 68, no returns. No refunds. And apparently, no respect. I didn't sleep that night. I laid in bed with every version of the conversation playing out in my head, the yelling one, the calm lawyerly one, the guilt-trip-laced monologue about betrayal and boundaries. I rehearsed every word like a closing argument. I was the son who'd sacrificed to give them freedom. They were the parents who pawned that freedom for cocktails and Mediterranean sunsets, and brought my sister along for the ride. Next morning, I sent a simple group text. Hope Greece is lovely. Call me when you're ready to explain how selling a $300,000 gift without telling me was a good idea. Nothing. Hours passed. Then, Mom, we didn't want to hurt your feelings. We'll talk when we're back. Love you. Love you? Like she'd accidentally thrown out a sweater, not torched my goodwill with a Molotov of entitlement. I couldn't concentrate at work. During a meeting, someone said, mobile infrastructure, and I almost laughed because all I could picture was that RV. Driving off into a resale lot and turning into cruise tickets and gift shop sunglasses. I called my cousin Liam the family's unofficial truth sayer. He didn't sugarcoat it. Oh yeah, they sold it 2 weeks ago. Clara found a buyer through some guy she dated who flips high-end campers. Got a good deal too, apparently. My ears went hot. They made money on it? Yep. Clara even joked that she should get into the luxury resale business. I didn't know whether to scream or laugh. They profited off my gift. Like a grift. Like I was the naive donor in a heist movie who doesn't realize he's being played until the credits roll. Then Liam dropped the real kicker. She said they were never gonna use it, Noah. That the RV was a symbolic gift and that you'd understand once you grew up. Her words, not mine. Symbolic. Symbolic? That's when I cracked. I emailed Clara a PDF of the bill of sale. Titled it, Symbolic Value. PDF. I highlighted the total with a giant yellow block and added one sentence. Hope the shrimp buffet was worth it. She didn't reply. But my dad did. 2 hours later, I got a message that read, Can we talk when we're back? We didn't handle this the best. But it's not what you think. So I waited. For the flight. For the awkward homecoming. For whatever version of damage control they'd try next. And I promised myself this, I wasn't going to yell. I was going to be surgical. Like they were the ones on the operating table. And I was done being soft. They landed on a Sunday. I tracked the flight like a jealous ex, every mile closer pressing into my chest like a weight. When they finally texted, home safe, I drove over. Not to chat. Not to make peace. Just to see the look on their faces when I asked them the one question they'd been avoiding. I didn't knock. I walked in with the spare key they'd never asked for back. Mom was on the couch flipping through a photo album from the cruise, printed, glossy, like salt in the wound. Dad was in his recliner, pretending to nap. Clara wasn't there, thank God. Her presence would have turned my already frayed control into a wildfire. Hey, sweetie, Mom said, like we were opening Christmas presents. Want to see the shots from the Amalfi Coast? I stood there. Just stood. Did you think I wouldn't find out? I said. Dad opened his eyes. Slowly. Like I'd interrupted something sacred. I gave you a house on wheels, I continued. A luxury home. With Wi-Fi. With satellite. A freaking espresso machine. And you sold it? Dad sat up. Noah. You didn't even call me. Mom's face softened like she was about to deploy the maternal. Let's all breathe. Maneuver. We didn't want to hurt you. Mission failed. Dad rubbed his temple. It wasn't working out, son. My back. You didn't even try. 1 weekend and you were already shopping cruise packages? We thought you'd understand. Mom whispered. You always understand. I laughed. Once. You thought I'd understand that you sold a $300,000 gift and took Clara instead of me? That's not misunderstanding, that's gaslighting. Silence. I took out my phone and opened my banking app. I'd pulled the records in preparation. I turned the screen toward them. You know how I paid for that RV? I said. I liquidated equity I'd been sitting on for 5 years. That was my home down payment. My future. Mom's hand went to her chest. And you turned it into spa days and shrimp towers and Instagram stories captioned #blessed. Dad looked ashamed. For real this time. We didn't mean to erase your gift. We got caught up. You let Clara convince you to pawn something I bought for you. And you rewarded her by bringing her along. Mom looked up. She said it was her idea. The trip. The sale. We didn't know what to say. You say no. I snapped. You say this was a gift from our son, and it's not for sale. Another beat of silence. Then Mom reached out, gentle, eyes wet. You've always been the strong one, Noah. We didn't think you'd care so much about things. It's not the thing, I said. It's the choice. And who you made it with. I turned. I was done. No more lecture. No more guilt. But before I left, I said one more thing. You don't get to play victim because I finally set a boundary. And then I walked out. 3 days passed. Radio silence. No apology, no surprise visit, not even a passive-aggressive "Hope you're okay" text. Just nothing. The kind of silence that grows legs and starts pacing in your head. Then, on Thursday, my doorbell rang. It was Clara. Of course. She was in athleisure, holding a reusable coffee cup like she just floated out of a self-care podcast. Can we talk? She asked, all breathy and gentle like she hadn't been the architect of a betrayal that still made me grind my teeth in my sleep. I didn't invite her in. Just stood in the doorway, arms crossed. Look, she started. I know you're pissed. Pissed? I said. No. Pissed is when someone eats your leftovers. This is something else entirely. She sighed. I didn't steal anything, Noah. I helped them make a decision. Dad was miserable in that RV. Mom kept getting migraines. It just wasn't their dream anymore. I laughed. And it just so happened that their new dream involved you sipping cocktails in Santorini? Clara flushed. I didn't ask to be invited. You suggested the trip. You found the buyer. You brokered the deal. What part of that wasn't asking? I was trying to help. No. You were trying to benefit. There's a difference. That hit her. Her jaw clenched. But instead of arguing, she pivoted the classic Clara move. They love you, you know. They talk about you all the time. You're the responsible one. The generous one. The one who doesn't need anything. Yeah. I said. That's the problem. They treat me like a utility. Not a son. You're the favorite. The golden one. I'm the warranty department. She looked down. I didn't mean for it to blow up like this. Clara, I'm 31. I work 70 hours a week. I've saved, sacrificed, and shoved down every feeling of being overlooked for years. That RV? That was supposed to be something pure. A thank you? A reward for them. And you turned it into a group discount for a Mediterranean flex. She winced. For a moment, I saw a flicker of real guilt. I'll pay you back, she said quietly. My half, at least. I've got some savings. I can start next month. I held up my hand. I don't want your money. Then what do you want? I looked at her. I want you to finally stop thinking the world will rearrange itself to keep you comfortable. I want Mom and Dad to understand that Noah will understand isn't a life strategy. And I want you all to know that this time, there's a cost. She nodded slowly. No flinch. No sass. Just a woman who finally realized she wasn't walking away from this one untouched. I closed the door without another word. And that night, for the first time in a week, I slept straight through. 2 weeks passed. No updates. No calls. No emotional Hail Marys from Mom. No surprise homemade lasagnas or voicemail novels from Dad. Even Clara disappeared from the group texts, which had now turned into digital ghost towns. Our family chat stuck on an awkward birthday meme from Aunt Denise, and a single thumbs up from me. Then, a beige envelope arrived at my apartment. No stamp. No address. Just slid under my door like a spy message. Inside, a handwritten letter from my mom. It started with, Dear Noah, which already felt weird because she normally opens with, Hi, sweetheart. Then, we owe you more than an apology. We owe you an explanation. The truth is, we were overwhelmed. The RV was beautiful, too beautiful. Your father got anxious every time he drove it. I got motion sick after 2 days. And when Clara came to visit that weekend and saw us stressed, she offered a solution. We took it. That was cowardly. We thought if we told you, we'd hurt you. But in trying to avoid hurting you, we betrayed you. I stopped reading and just stared at the wall. It wasn't nothing. But it wasn't enough. Then I turned the page. Clara told us what you said. About being treated like a utility. Like a warranty department. You're right. That's not love, it's dependence with a smile on it. We didn't mean to do that. We see you. We really do. But we've leaned on your stability so hard, we forgot to be grateful for it. We let comfort become entitlement. We know a check won't fix this. Neither will a letter. But we'd like to talk. In person. On your terms. And then, the kicker, in Mom's handwriting I knew from a lifetime of permission slips and birthday cards. We're not asking you to forgive us today. But we're asking for the chance to earn it. They'd signed it together. Mom and Dad. No Clara. I sat there for a long time. Not angry. Not moved. Just still. That night, I poured a whiskey, sat on my balcony, and let the ocean of it hit me. They weren't good at apologies. But this one had fingerprints. Effort. Wait. Still, the damage wasn't undone. The scar was healing, but the skin would never be the same. I texted my dad the next morning. Dinner. Your place. Friday. Just you two. His reply came back in under a minute. We'll cook. Friday came like a slow drumbeat in my chest. I dressed like I was walking into a deposition, clean, calm, composed. Not because I wanted to intimidate them, but because I needed to protect whatever part of me hadn't been chewed up by disappointment. Their house looked the same, but it felt dimmer. Like something sacred had been knocked off the shelf, and no one had picked up the pieces yet. Mom opened the door with red eyes and freshly baked bread. Her emotional artillery. I sidestepped the hug and nodded instead. Smells good. Dad was in the kitchen stirring something like it owed him money. We exchanged a stiff handshake, and for once, I didn't fill the silence. Dinner was salmon. Perfectly cooked. Roasted carrots. They'd even remembered I'd gone mostly plant-based since February, which I hadn't expected them to notice. We ate in relative quiet. They asked how work was, how my apartment felt, how my team was doing. I answered, but it was clipped. Neutral. Then, after dessert, a chocolate tart Mom definitely didn't make from scratch. Dad cleared his throat like he was about to deliver a eulogy. We messed up, he said. Just like that. And not just with the RV. I sat back. Go on. He looked over at Mom. She nodded like she was bracing for a wave. We've been using your reliability like a crutch. Your generosity became our budget line. Your calm became our coping mechanism. And Clara knows how to play us. She always has. But we let her. I didn't interrupt. Dad continued. When you gave us that RV, I panicked. Not because I wasn't grateful, I was. God, I was. But I felt small. Like I couldn't possibly deserve that kind of gift. It made me feel old. It made me feel like a burden. So when Clara said we looked stressed, when she offered the cruise, I didn't push back. I let her steer. He paused. Took a breath. And then we got swept up. The ports. The food. The way she managed everything. It was easy to pretend it was okay. But it wasn't. I said flatly. No. He agreed. It wasn't. Mom finally spoke. We thought we were trading one adventure for another. But what we really did was trade trust for comfort. And we hurt the one person who never asked for anything back. Her voice cracked. She reached across the table, but stopped herself. You've always been the anchor, Noah. We just never realized that even anchors need ground to rest on. For a moment, none of us said anything. Then I reached into my jacket and slid something across the table. A folded printout. Mom opened it. Her eyes scanned the page. What's this? She asked. It's the invoice for a used 2009 Winnebago. I said. Basic model. No frills. No fireplace. Just 2 beds and a road-ready engine. They both blinked at me. I put a deposit down. It's in my name. You'll never have to sell it. You can drive it or not. But this one's different. Dad looked stunned. You'd do that again? No, I said. This isn't a gift. It's a reset. Mom swallowed. What's the catch? You don't bring Clara, I said. And you don't sell it. If you hate it, you park it. But you don't turn it into something else. You don't turn me into something else. They nodded. And if Clara wants a vacation, I added, she can pay for it herself. Dad actually laughed. It was small, but real. That sounds fair. Then Mom reached for my hand, and this time, I let her. Noah, she said softly, thank you for not giving up on us. Even when we deserved it. I looked between them, these two people who'd made me, shaped me, and somehow still didn't know quite what to do with me. You've got one more shot, I said. Don't waste it. Mom nodded, eyes glistening. Dad raised his glass. To the road? He said. To doing it right, I replied. We clinked glasses. No champagne. No mimosas. Just water. Still. Honest. A week later, they hit the road. Not with confetti or champagne, but with a thermos of coffee and 2 maps, one digital, one paper. Dad insisted on the paper one. Said it made the trip feel earned. Mom had packed snacks like they were preparing for the apocalypse. Trail mix, homemade granola, enough bananas to start a farm. I stood in their driveway and watched them climb into the modest, slightly dented 2009 Winnebago. This one had no touchscreen navigation, no plush leather seats, no fireplace. But it had something the last one didn't: intention. They'd earned this trip. Not with money. With humility. Mom stuck her head out the window before they pulled out. "We'll text when we hit Utah." I raised my coffee cup. No selfies with Clara this time. She smiled. "A real one." "No, Clara. Promise." Dad honked twice his version of a goodbye hug. The RV rumbled away like an old dog coming out of hibernation, and I stood there until the taillights turned to specks. For the first time in weeks, I felt light. Back at my apartment, I opened my laptop to find an email from Clara. Subject line: "So I guess I'm the villain now?" I didn't open it. Not out of spite. Out of peace. Clara didn't need an answer. She already knew it. I'd drawn a line. And for once, no one tried to walk over it. Later that night, Mom sent a blurry photo from a rest stop in Arizona. Dad was holding up a gas station burrito like it was filet mignon. The caption read, "Guess what? He likes it better than the cruise shrimp." I laughed. Out loud. Alone. And I felt the quiet relief of not having to fix anything. The RV wasn't about luxury this time. It wasn't about appearances or guilt or overcorrections. It was about motion. Repair. Rebuilding something from the wheels up. And this time, the road really was open. I woke up the next morning to a voicemail from my dad. He doesn't usually leave voicemails, he's a serial "call me back" texter, but this one was over a minute long. His voice was quiet, a little raspy, like he'd just gotten up or maybe didn't sleep well. "Hey kiddo. Just wanted to say, thank you. We're in Bryce Canyon. Never seen stars like this before. Your mom cried. Good tears. And I guess I don't know. I kept thinking about that night at dinner. How calm you were. Not cold. Not cruel. Just done. And I realized how much you've been holding for all of us. Since you were a kid, really. You were always the one who noticed when the power bill wasn't paid, or when your mom had that look like she was 2 seconds from breaking. You fixed things before they cracked. And I let you. We let you. And I'm sorry for that. We're going to be better. Not just with this trip. With all of it. I promise." I sat there holding the phone like it was breakable. That message hit somewhere deeper than guilt. It reached the tired part of me, the part that kept waiting for someone else to carry the weight for once. And finally, someone had. I spent the rest of that week breathing differently. I didn't realize how much of my life had been spent preemptively bracing for the next ask, the next guilt trip, the next, "Can you just do this one thing?" Now? Silence. Sweet, purposeful silence. No Clara rerouting the family dynamic to benefit herself. No passive-aggressive questions from Mom about why I don't come around as much. No lukewarm apologies disguised as casseroles. Just the sound of tires on gravel and 2 people finally owning the piece they'd been gifted, and this time, keeping it. On Saturday, I got a picture from them parked beside a cliff. The kind of view you only get if you wake up with sunrise breath and a decent pair of walking shoes. In the photo, Dad was holding up a hand-drawn sign that said, "No resale value. Just us." Underneath, Mom had written in marker, "Still ours. Still grateful." I didn't cry. Okay, I cried a little. I framed that photo. Put it above my desk. Not as a reminder of what I gave, but of what they finally chose. And just when I thought the week couldn't get more surreal, I got a text from Clara. It read, "I moved out. Just me and a futon right now. Thought maybe I should try standing on my own for once. No business plans. No pity. Just figuring it out." Then, after a pause, "Also, I'm sorry." That was it. No emojis. No follow-up requests. No bait. Just silence. Honest, rare silence. I didn't reply. Not yet. But for the first time, I didn't feel like a villain for drawing the line. I felt like a man who knew where the edge was and chose not to fall over it. And that's something I'll never apologize for. Last night, I got a photo, no caption, no fanfare. Just my parents sitting by a fire pit outside the RV, bundled in blankets, 2 mugs in hand, heads leaned together like teenagers. No cruise lights. No crowd. Just them, finally still. I stared at it for a long time. Not because it was beautiful, though it was, but because it was quiet. The kind of quiet that doesn't beg to be earned or explained. Just exists. For once, I didn't feel like their savior. I felt like their son. And that, more than the RV, more than any apology, was the real gift. My worth wasn't tied to what I gave, it was finally seen in who I was. Not the fixer. Not the backup parent. Just me. And that was enough.